Just can finally make the podcast.
Hello?
You there?
Okay.
Not passed out tonight. It's always good.
Yeah, fully rested, napped up.
How was that Steelers game last week?
That was a blast. Seats were amazing. We were 20 rows right behind the Steeler bench. It was nice.
Not bad.
I mean, you kind of forget, like, how nice it is to be at a game. Like, when you know what I mean? Watching so much on TV and tickets are expensive that you just don't even – you forget because you go to them so seldom when you're that close. Just hearing the players talk on the sideline and yell at each other and, like, you're there,
Yeah. It's been a while since I've been to a game. Probably like 5, 6 years, maybe 6 years.
I left that game feeling bad because I also have Bell in my family league.
Right.
When he finally got that touchdown, I'm like, this is perfect. Like, doing well ZFL wise, and I'm getting the 6 from Bell in the family league. And then they go to the replay, and it was like a super slow mo.
Yeah.
And they only showed the replay in the stadium until after it was overturned. So, like, I'm like held in suspense that whole time. And I immediately thought of you because I'm like, Tyson's probably just as pissed as I am on the Bell overturn. And then Big Ben throws a TD on the next play.
Yeah. Who did he throw that one to?
That was Antonio Brown.
Gotcha. Yeah, he went off. He had
that also helped Roller out.
Which is why Roller went off so big this past week. All right, let's get started with a little – I had to teach this game to marry, fuck, kill. This will break the ice. So you have to pick – you marry one of these options, you kill him, or you bang him one-night stand style. So the options are – it's not people. It's Thursday, Thanksgiving football games, New Year's Eve college games, or New Year's Day college games, so like the premium ones, or Super Bowl. I'll let you go first.
I believe I'm going to marry the Super Bowl.
Okay. Reason?
Well, just out of the fact the Steelers are in so frequently. I mean, and also too, it's very nice if you have the leave to just take off Monday morning. So there's no like, oh shit, work's come the next day. It's you already know you're not coming in, or you're coming in at lunch.
Just like marriage, it's a consistent, above average thing that you're expecting the rest of your life. That's what you're getting with the Super Bowl for you, at least. All right, what else?
Fuck would be Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Games. Just out of once again, like it's a good distraction. Midweek, it's good tradition. I don't know. It's just something that it's there and it's gone.
I hear you. And obviously that leaves Mary for the New Year's games.
No, we're gonna kill the New Year's.
Oh, you're killing New Year's. Sorry, I wasn't even paying attention.
They're terrible.
Why are you killing that?
Too many of the bowl games are just they don't live up to the hype. It's and now if the trend continues, and last year McCaffrey, Fournette both sat out. Hell, McCaffrey sat out the goddamn Rose Bowl, and then you get like idiot Barkley's going to play in the Beef O'Brady Bowl or whatever third-rate bowl Penn State's going to go to. Like I think you're going to see like more of the stars just sit these out, which means they're not even going to have like the Heisman, candidates or winners that you want to watch. I just think they're slowly just going to become second-rate games because the playoffs going to expand to like 8 teams.
Yeah, but the playoffs will probably expand onto that day eventually.
Playoffs will be leading up to that.
All right. Well, I didn't think about playoffs when I did this, so I'm going to marry the New Year's Day games because that's my team, Penn State's most likely chance for glory every year, and I want that consistency. I'm going to fuck the Thursday games because, like you said, kind of the same reasons. Want that distraction, maybe get away from the family for a few minutes, get that out of your system. And I'm going to kill the Super Bowl because the Eagles are never in it, and I have no need for the Super Bowl if the Eagles are never going to be in it and win. So I'm going to kill them.
Well, I saw an interesting stat today. Last time the Eagles started 9-1, they did not win the Super Bowl.
When was that? Oh, was that with T.O.?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Donovan McNabb puking kicking his guts out on the field. That was a nice year.
So,
Strong finish.
it could be the
Yeah. So we're going to do a rundown of this week's playoff implication matchups. Who needs wins the most, which is basically 70% of the league could use a win to either clinch the playoffs or stay in contention.
Let's bring the standings up right now.
Yep. I'm going to bring them up now as well. I dropped one place out. I'm on an absolute slide. I think I was in third 3 weeks ago. Now I'm in seventh. You got a nice win. You're at 7-4, tied with McNary and Roller, who has terrible. Roller might be the luckiest person, actually. He has only scored 981 points to 947 allowed, which is the lowest out of anyone in the entire league.
He is surviving.
Yeah, he really is.
I mean, even so, the matchup shake out this week. Me and you play each other. Then you have Roller and Ziegler, and then Dirty and Paulman. All three of those have huge playoff implications.
Yes.
Like they're de facto playoff games again, like last week.
I'd say there's only two games that don't matter this week, and that's Bob versus Tony and Hamley versus Pottsville, the Doc.
Well, is the Doc completely out of it?
No, he's not completely out of it because he has good points scored, but he has to win his next two.
7-6 is going to be that 6 seed.
I don't know, 7-6 with points. I think there's going to be 7-6 team or two that probably gets left out.
And the Doc has 1167, which
he has strong points for sure. So if he gets a 7-6, I'd say he's one of the teams.
Yeah, if Doc runs the table, I think he's most likely the 6 seed.
Right, and he's favored by a lot to win this week. He's a very dangerous team, actually. A lot of these.
But it's crazy with my schedule ahead. You know who I get last week?
You get last week.
I get the touchdown. I get Big Tone.
No.
So
and a potential playoff implication. Maybe he rests his starters. I don't know. That might be the move for him. You got to keep them healthy.
Well, the thing is, though, like with me having to close with you and Tony, like I have like two. For me to win out, like it's not going to be easy. And
but one, you just need one. Now this is the week to get it for sure. Since Tony's been on an absolute tear, much to the chagrin of everyone.
That's what I'm thinking by the time I get him in last week of the season. Mm-hmm. He finally has that week where he puts up like that 75-point clunker.
He hasn't done it yet. Well, I don't even know what the lowest output he's had this year, but it's
no. But let's look at Tone in week 13 against me. He has fantastic matchups once again. Fournette against Indianapolis.
Honestly.
Evans against Green Bay. Tyreek Hill against the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just going to need to be a meltdown city for me to have a shot at that one.
So, all right, yeah, my top ones this week. Let's start with you and me. This is definitely my playoff season on the line here. I got a little lucky. I have some guys coming back. I have Greg Olson, who's going to be starting. His projected points aren't even in this right now.
He's at least going to be 11 points.
Yeah, he's going to be a big part of the offense, you would think, coming right back into it. Sammy Watkins, I'm actually going to start because what's-his-face, Robert Woods is out for a couple weeks, so I'm hoping he picks up a share load. And I need my big players that I just acquired to come through. I need T.Y. Hilton to come through, and I need Jay Ajayi to come through. So I have some decent matchups. I just need my big names to actually produce, which they haven't really the past couple weeks.
So do you like having – I mean, both your quarterback options would be a Thursday game. Like, do you kind of fear like getting that game out of the way? Like, if they do great, then you're just like feeling good till Sunday.
But the fear is they lay like 9 points, and you got to sweat out the rest of the week. I would like a nice 20-point base, but I don't have the quarterbacks that give up 20-point games every week. Phillip Rivers could put up 6, but he could put up like 24. He's got a very low floor and a decently high ceiling.
I mean, what I'm hoping for is a 2-touchdown Rivers day, and they both got a Henry, and I just solidify. I just like take them out.
That would be a complete wash, and that's obviously my worst fear in that game is all the touchdowns.
And you know, too, like the hunted is due.
Yeah, he's one of the. I mean, obviously he's the tight end now there, and one of their more dangerous offensive weapons. I'm surprised he hasn't had bigger weeks past couple of weeks.
I mean, I'm just hoping that Keenan Allen blow-up game just completely just changes the defensive game plan to just like, okay, we're just going to cover Allen, and then just Henry can run loose.
Yeah, I'm worried, man. You're starting J.D. McKissick, who was on my roster for like 4 weeks. I let him go because nothing was happening. You pick him off the scrap heap, and now he's in your starting lineup, playing in a great matchup against San Francisco.
I mean, like, my boy CJ is done for the year, pro size. So in a way, I'm kind of like the spirit of CJ lives on in JD. CJ, JD, the running backs for Michels from Seattle.
And you got the fat horse who's looked pretty solid past couple weeks. He's questionable, but he'll be good to go. They're just resting him because they had the Thursday game.
I mean, for you, the big thing is going to be we're talking about good matchups like Le'Veon Bell against Green Bay. I mean, that could be a 28-point beatdown.
I mean, you got Seattle, the 2 Seattle guys against San Francisco. So we both had decent matchups actually. I expect both teams to be over 100 for sure. Which is a number I haven't hit in the past couple weeks. So it'd be nice to just get there.
What was the other matchup I was looking at? It was Dirty and Butcher is going to be the second one to watch.
Yep, that was mine too as well. So
and for me too, I always watch Butcher. I always flip back to his lineup because I have both of his handcuffs. And for him owning the 2 most brittle running backs in the NFL and not even thinking about either of – but both of their backups are instantly a low-end RB1, high RB2 if they get hurt. And I don't know. So I'm always watching Paulman score.
As you know, handcuffs are as gay as the bars that Paulman takes Tony to. So – I think the Butcher's going to win this game. Dan has been on the absolute slide, which no one feels bad for Dan whatsoever, considering he's a top finisher every year. He's had a nice season. He's also had some really bad luck.
Defending champ, or one of the defending champs from the years past.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Pullman's got a strong team.
Here, I'll show you this too. Hold on.
What are we looking
at? I finally got. I misordered the size of the plaques. So like Dan and myself. When this is sitting on Tony's mantle, I thought of it like the whole like John Hancock signing the Declaration. How like, well, King George is going to have to look at this, see my name, be able to read it. Same thing when Tony has that on the mantle. Me and Dan. He's just gonna have a constant reminder of the last 2 champs.
And not only that, just the absolute parade of females to go through that bed just to look over on the mantle just to see those names.
Dude, this thing's gonna be covered in semen and shit. I'm not gonna want to be the champ after next year, man. We're gonna need like the Lysol.
Yeah, don't drink from that. If Tony wins, don't ever drink from that thing.
Industrial sponges. Yeah, Tony's championship celebration with that thing.
Yeah, it'll be epic. I mean, he's pretty much celebrated. We can pretty much give it to him at this point based off of his production and his talking.
I was looking at his projections through the playoffs, and it's like I fall short like by 10 to 12 points like every week. So
my third matchup of the week is Ziegler and Jones versus Roller. These 2 don't talk much. Ziegler used to, but we're unsure of his standing these days. Roller, I don't know what to say about his season. At times I thought, I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then he makes sneaky ads, and fucking Garoppolo is still on his roster. For God knows
If
what reason. I cannot.
if he doesn't keep him, it was a lot of hassle for nothing.
There's no way he actually believes in Garoppolo being a $10 quarterback next year. Like, even to get value, you'd have to expect him to go for like 18 or something. It's ridiculous.
I mean, but look at it like this. I mean, what if like he becomes like next year's Wentz? Like, what if the 49ers turn around?
Tyrod Taylor's out there. Who I might pick up again because I love him. He's so much more value at this point. Like, Roller's practically in the playoffs. All he needs is one win. He has 2 weeks to get one win, and he's in, which is crazy considering how low of a point score he's had. But let's talk about Ziegler real quick. Here's another.
Great the Kareem Hunt slide.
Oh man, I kind of knew this was going to happen at the start of the year. He's just gotten so much usage, and he started off so hot. He's still having good weeks, but he's just not producing at the ridiculous level he was at the start of the season. Yeah, and he's pretty tied into Kansas City. He's got Hunt and Kelsey. Kelsey's been a monster pretty much though every week. Yeah, he's got one of those guys that I've mentioned in the past that you don't want to start, but you have to, and it's Dez Bryant. I'm not a big Dez Bryant fan this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ziegler's depth. I mean, he had the three horsemen, and Murray's really teetered off. Hunt's teetered off. Freeman's injury bug's been hitting him.
Devonta Foreman's concussion could not have come at a worse time when he absolutely needed a win. That one kills. He might actually be back this week, but we'll see.
I mean, his only saving grace is, if the team does melt down, is next year getting to keep like Hunt and like Doxson for $10.
Yeah, Doxson's decent.
You know,
yeah.
$10 for a good wide receiver too is a pretty good value
for sure. That guy's going to be a beast. Last matchup worth anything is Ross and McNary. McNary's sitting pretty. McNary could actually pretty much lose out and still make the playoffs. And Ross, go ahead.
I mean, just out of straight numbers, like McNary's Tony's biggest competition.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they have another $100 bet or something this year. Everyone wants a piece of Tony. Come with the king, you best not miss, though. That's what I say.
But no, I mean, the only questions with McNary's team is just McKinnon losing touches to Murray every week, and Carr, just because the Raiders are so inconsistent. I mean, as we saw this past week against New England.
Yeah, Demaryius Thomas gets a new quarterback to throw the ball. Paxton Lynch is getting his first start.
I think Paxton's going to look a lot better than anything that they've thrown out there. And
well, it's hard to get any worse. So,
and even too, like, God, you know, it is kind of funny because I never look at anybody's bench really, always or starting lineups, and it's like you always think your bench sucks, and everybody's in the same boat as you. You know, like
McNary's bench is horrible.
I mean, that's pretty much his only issue is just like if there's injuries, like he really is going to have to hit the waiver wire like a man.
Yeah, he has no depth whatsoever. Ross, on the other hand, this fucking guy keeps hanging around. We questioned what he was doing early in the season, just sitting on guys, and when he should have been making moves. But he's somehow like I forget what his record was at one point. He is just kept hanging around. He will not die.
Did you see the Ellington news today?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Does that mean that possibly they're getting ready for a Johnson return? If that happens, all of a sudden now Ross is rolling out some firepower.
If he makes the playoffs, he's deadly. That gives him 3 really good running backs. He got fucking Alfred Morris, Danny Woodhead, who snuck on his team and instantly like jumps back into old Danny Woodhead roles. Dan must be crying right now that Danny Woodhead's in a starting lineup and not in his. And he has Keenan Allen, who went off last week, and Cam Newton's rounded a corner.
So, and also, too, you forget, Rodgers is projected to be back 15 and 16.
Yeah,
so
Rodgers
So if he does make the playoffs, I mean, like, Ross could roll him out if he wants.
If Ross makes the playoffs and sits on both those guys all year, well, he picked up Rodgers, I guess, when he was dropped, but he sits on those. Oh, no, he didn't pick him up. He was always on his team, but sat on him at a price that he's not a keeper price, but in the hopes that he might make the playoffs. That's kind of genius, like playing that long con. Very patient ownership there. It's either patient or lazy, or just not thinking long term. But if he makes playoffs and makes a run, I mean, got to hand it to him. It's kind of impressive.
And looking ahead too, he gets roller in week 13, which that could be a de facto playing game.
That could be a big game too, for sure.
And for that too, I mean, pretty good matchups. I mean, not fantastic ones, but
that's pretty much it for this week. Oh, I want to mention I might pull out a Steagles move. I might go double tight end starting this week, Regis, just in honor of playing you. I might go with it. If Jordan Reed is cleared to play, he might be my best flex option.
I wish I had a sheet from that draft that gave the rankings. I think like it was Finley and Hernandez. They were the consensus like 3 and 4 tight ends off the board.
R.I.P. by the way.
in the overall rankings, like they were way above any wide receivers on our board. And Scott, let's do it. Turn the keys.
Yeah, well, they were turned. They were turned early and often.
But when I was researching our closing topic, and did you know who was second in total points that year throughout the entire ZFL? Steagles.
Oh my God. The
14, 15 points. We finished second in the league for total points scored. Losing record, missed the playoffs. But, like, we didn't really drop anybody. So, like, if we just could have won, like, 1 or 2 early games, the Steagles would have steamrolled the playoffs that year.
Did you end up winning the consolation playoffs, which used to be a thing? We used to care about the consolation bracket.
Do we even lock rosters now for the people who didn't make the playoffs?
Now. I think we do. We have to check on Dan for that one.
Yeah, that was the fun fact of my research for the top 5. I was like, damn. I was looking and I was like, holy shit! Like, look how many fucking points we had. We didn't do anything with them. Like, but the thing is that they all came in like 5 games.
Right. Yeah. Stockpiled them. Then you had like real bad weeks. Real quick, do you want to make an announcement about the DFS for Thursday?
Yes. Like, I tried to get this off the ground last year, and it really didn't take off. And so this year, instead of just doing a spot for everybody in the league, I just did 10 spots. But DFS on DraftKings, $10 a man, winner take all, $90. Good little Turkey Day tradition. Not everybody has guys going on Thanksgiving. I do a bunch of them online with some friends, and it is kind of fun because you're only picking those 3 games.
Yeah, it's fun.
So it's like you're picking like third wide receivers, backup running backs, praying for vulture touchdowns. $10.
I mean, if you're in the Ryan family and you're sitting around listening to Aunt Betty tell her the same old story she's told every year, these guys that you have in your daily game going, they keep you more interested. You can block her out, so I can see the big advantage for you.
So yeah, I mean, but hopefully the guys sign up. I mean, and obviously if we don't fill it out, it doesn't run. But I think
you have to reach a certain number.
Yeah, you got to get to 10.
Okay.
I mean, I was going to go lower, but I couldn't get a head count because nobody on GroupMe is DFS enthusiasts.
What do we have? There's 3 right now.
Yes, me, you, and McNary.
Well, everyone send an email blast because people don't listen to GroupMe. Send an email out.
I actually texted Ziegler personally and was like, Z, this would be your chance to jump back into the fray.
The Dream Crushers.
Crush some holiday dreams.
Exactly. Be sipping on the Mad Elf and crushing dreams all day. All right, let's get to our last topic of the night, which is a fun one. We decided to list our top 5 former owners ranking. And the criteria is, best contributor via whether it's at the bar scene, because a lot of these guys, we used to hang out at the bars on Sunday back in Harrisburg, or via email. Fantasy know-how, they have to be, I have to know what the hell they were doing a little. And what was the other one? It was just basically, what was my other criteria? I forget.
I also looked at it like on the league, the taco criteria, like what extenuating things do they bring in that makes the league fun?
And intangibles, if you will, the Tim Tebow factor in the league. All right, so I'll say one, you say one. I'm going to start at the. You want to start at the bottom, or you want to start?
Let's do fives first.
Fives first. My fifth was Ace. Loved Ace. Always great for like 2 to 3 fuck ups on draft day, which is 2 to 3 tequila shots. He used to wear a jersey. I'm not even sure what team it was from. If it was his high school jersey or was it the Kansas City Chiefs? I couldn't really tell what it was. That thing it was almost a bare midriff, like Ezekiel Elliott style. But I respected it.
It was tight.
Respected, a really nice guy. Wasn't like the smartest owner, but somehow was in the playoff hunt every year. He never like bombed. Interesting fellow.
He did not make my 5.
He did not make your 5. All right, that's fair. Go with your 5.
What he did bring though was, I kind of like, he was almost like a package deal with Merlot, because they were like attached at the hip. Like whatever Merlot would propose, like Ace would back him up, like no questions asked.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
My 5 is actually, I miss the easy wins. So I'm wishing Foner was back in the league. Foner around like week 7 would just either trade away like ridiculous. He would trape himself essentially. Like he would like wander himself into a dark alley to get taken advantage of. Like he didn't, I miss that. Like that totally aloof owner we don't have anymore.
He big Steelers fan, so he definitely had a couple of Steelers on his roster usually.
He was so overdraft, like at least a 2-round overdraft on like some like Heath Miller, like he'd take him in like the 6th, 7th round.
Yeah,
if he could every year.
I miss his. I don't know if you ever watched his movie reviews. Like him and his buddy would like do a serious breakdown of like the latest movies to come out. And he would have his own podcast of that. I'm pretty sure he schlepped to our league members sometimes. I miss those. He was a black sheep in the league, though. Like a weird guy, kind of nerdy. He would make a corny joke that would be like,
well, also too though, I did enjoy the Super Bowl parties.
Oh yeah, he had a great setup. I was at.
Yeah, Boner Super Bowl parties were always good. Always good.
All right, so that's your 5. My 4th is I gave him a real big boost for the intangibles, and honestly, he probably could have gone higher. And it's Healy. Great, just a solid dude to have around, and basically just you could give him so much shit, and we could just talk about him, and it would be hilarious. Just we didn't even need his response. Just like to hear stories about Healy would be funny. Not a great fantasy owner from the knowledge perspective. I think his low point or high point, doesn't matter what your viewpoint is of it, is when he drafted Jordy Nelson at our last live draft.
We were watching the game together. We were all Zigglers. And I remember, I can't think of what owner was like, oh man, I look pretty bad. Like he's on the sideline. He looks like Healy's like 3 feet away. And then like I'm sitting next to him at the draft, and he puts the bid on Nelson. I just looked at him like, dude, like we were right by each other and we saw him get hurt.
We were all kind of dicks though. We like let it go through. I think that's the nail that did him in though. That was the nail in the coffin. That was his last year. I think Jordy Nelson, he couldn't handle the ridicule after that.
Haunts him in his dreams. My number 4 is Merlot. Once again, kind of how like I think the league, like I like Boner back in because like we're lacking easy wins. I think like Merlot, just because the league really doesn't have that true like just league asshole anymore. You know, like we're missing some assholiness. Like
the only one that comes close is Tony, but Tony's like a lovable bear almost. Like he'll talk shit, but it's like all in good fun. But Merlot is, oh man, someone you just love to hate. Like just off of his, I don't know if you still follow him on Facebook or his stupid.
I don't.
Oh, it's painful. It's so brutal to watch. I despise every second of it, and it's someone that is just begging to be trolled nonstop. And no, not to mention your mom jokes that Hamley pretty much championed without even meeting Merlot, which is impressive.
And the thing is, so too, like with Merlot, like the final, like I kind of wish he would have stayed in the league after he essentially stole Scott's Penn State jersey and personalized it and then lied about it to everybody. Like that's when like I was like, dude, like this dude's got some fucking stones. Like another dude in our fantasy football league, you're gonna borrow his jersey, personalize it, and then lie about it. Like I don't know if he was getting cleaned or was stolen or I don't know, but like just.
No, he said he lent it to someone else then. Number one, if you borrow a jersey and then lend it to someone else, you don't do that. Like, just be a normal human being. What a care! I do wish he was back just to get the repercussions. And he went on to like apparently win his other league. A bunch of like big name Harrisburg dudes. I think they're hot shit. It's a whole side story. Bob can really fill you in on the details of Merlot. Yeah. All right, number 3. My number 3 is Roker, probably the biggest asshole in the entire league. It's either him or Merlot. Pretty much fills the contrarian role to a T. Like he will disagree with you. The guy that'll disagree just to disagree. And he'll have arguments and stats backed up for it, and he'll just be sitting there smirking and like laughing the entire time you talk. Just one of those dudes that like really gets under your skin. I'm sure Bob says he would never want him back in the league, but I actually kind of would like Roker back in the league just to have that asshole back. He's my Merlot, that is to you.
Yeah, but also I think it's like Roker would be good to have back because like I've dealt with his shit enough. Like it really doesn't bother me as much as it used to. So like I feel like I'd be one of the owners least affected by his abrasiveness. Yeah, the Rokerness. He's actually my number 3 also. And I think my notes were just, he was like Tony, but, with this cockiness, the swagger, but he just had a delivery problem. Like, it's like when Tony is ripping on people, it definitely has a delivery. Like Roker was very
maybe timing wasn't his best thing, but yeah, delivery again wasn't his strong suit. He would have the joke, but just couldn't formulate it in the right way that would really strike or hit home. Oh man.
Well, man, too. I mean, I really think. I mean, I don't know if he does any auctions now, but I do think the format change really influenced whether he was going to stick around or not.
He was a big
anti-auction.
And I think he used that kind of a bailout excuse when the league rules changed. Oh, and by the way, Tony, this predates you, but you are having a classic Roker season.
Yeah, like this is like a Marty Schottenheimer-esque.
It really is. I can't wait for the that. All right. My number 2 is Merlot. We've kind of gone over him in detail. So that leaves your 1 and 2. You have someone on your 1 and 2 that I don't have at all. But we already discussed Mike. He's my number 2. Despise Mike.
I have Coobs at 2 and Healy at 1.
Okay. Oh, Healy made your 1. Kubi's my number 1. Love Kubi. Wish he would come back to the league. Understand he works a couple jobs and has busy family life now. But this is the escape I think Kubi would need in his life, just to get away for a couple hours during the week. I miss that guy. Just also kind of a contrarian in his fantasy analysis, considering he bought magazines that were a couple months old. And he was always slightly behind. I'd be interested to see what Kubi keeps up in the smartphone age and the up to the minute processing of information, how he would have handled last minute waiver wire claims a la Dan. If he probably would have been way behind that curve, as were most of us. But Healy's your one. Tell me, I want to hear your reasons on Healy. Let's hear that.
Go back and listen to Bob's original podcasts when Healy was a guest. And just the Healy, those the seasons before Jordy Nelson, the dude was on fucking fire. He wasn't playing well, but it's just he was just so intense about the league. And I'm man, to have that much fire when your season's going down the drain and you're still getting fired up. He wanted to win every week, even if he was 1-7. He's I want to go 2-7. You know what I mean? Just that. And he always knew you were going to get him.
He always had a hot take in him, and he would spit hot fire when it came to
chopping spaghetti.
Yeah,
that's one of his catchphrases. I miss it.
Oh man.
No, he was great.
Yeah, and most of the league now doesn't even know many of these guys. At least know Healy, Roker, those types.
Which is why the live draft is important next year.
Yes, got to do the live draft.
Make a weekend out of it.
It's going to strengthen the league even stronger than it is right now. It's probably at an all-time high, the strength of the league, given Group Me discussions. Yeah, definitely got to do the live draft. All right, well, that's all I have. Any closing remarks, Reed?
Not really. We just got to, get that Kenny Chesney concert moved.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, go to Pittsburgh, Tony. It's going to be even more lit. Girls, they're amazing out in Pittsburgh. Regis can attest. He's out there in the scene.
Hey, Dan would drive.
We'll do a road trip. I'll go. Even I'll go. It's not that long to drive.
Hey, Tony. That's what I mean, though. We need to just get the draft date set and let everything fall into place.
Yep, agreed. All right, yeah, we'll get an update on that draft date next time we do this. But look forward to Group Me tomorrow night. Try and stay awake. You can, or if not, read the full coverage of the Group Me messages in the morning. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining read. Trying to get Ziegler out there. Don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, real quick, any overpays on the waiver because it will.
I'm sure Mike Wallace is going to get picked up again for the 20th time this year. Who do you have?
No, Andre Ellington. He got signed by the Texans.
Oh yeah, Ellington for sure. I don't know. He's not going to jump right into that Devonta Foreman role. I think he's just going to be used on third downs. I don't think there's going to be much value there. Other than that, not a big week. I can't really think of anyone that would.
Forte.
Yeah, no one that really would jump straight into a starting lineup, in my opinion.
Is there anybody that needs a player bad next week?
That's the real question. Not really. I feel like everyone that's in playoff contention has their starting lineup set. You and I might have some weak spots, but I don't see anyone on the wire that would jump into either of our lineups.
I'll just look right now to see what are the transaction trends. Atlanta D, Wallace, Washington, Carolina D, Dalton, Amendola, Tyrod.
Yeah, I could see Tyrod. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think a lot of less is going to be shredded. People's fab is dwindling. Some still have some to spend. It's Ziegler, who has neglected to do anything with it all year.
Spend any of his money.
Don't let it go to waste. Oh, one thing to tease this week is we're probably going to nominate 4 kind of play owners of the year, or best move, craziest moves, stuff like that. And the winner is going to get $10 additional in Fab next year. So a slight incentive to contribute to emails and or Group Me. We're going to hand out some superlatives at the end of the season.
While I do like the idea of superlatives, I do think $10 is extremely too much Fab. But
for Fab, get out of here. Tony doesn't even believe in Fab. Tony doesn't need Fab. He's the number 1 team in the league.
I would die for $10 Fab.
You would kill for $10 right now.
No, like the podcast that I fell asleep. That was my like worst move of the year. Was the trying to set my waiver priorities on my phone with the staggering, and I got Jerron and John Brown. I was supposed to get one or the other, and only both in like an extreme measure. And I wound up like spending $15 on the one, which I would have died for $15 fab a few weeks ago. But I still got McKissick for $1. So,
yeah, come on. He's in your starting lineup. Neither of those other guys would have started. So.
But yeah, the fab's all important.
Happy Thanksgiving. Go Eagles. Looking to go 10-1 this week. Should be an easy win.
Yep, same to you.
All right, man. Take it easy. Later.
We'll see you and greet me tomorrow.
Yes, sir.